not sure. That's the subject of my sermon today. You ask for God's direction, but there's no answer. Last year when President Kennedy was assassinated, who among us did not experience the most profound disorientation? Despair. What now? Which way? What do I tell myself? What do I say to my children? It was a time of people sitting together, bound together by a common feeling of hopelessness. But think of that. Your bond with your fellow human being was your despair. It was a common experience shared by everyone in our society. It was awful, but we were in it together. How much worse is it then for the lone man, the lone woman stricken by a private calamity? No one knows I'm sick. No one knows I've lost my last real friend. No one knows I've done something wrong. Imagine the isolation. It'd be like looking at the world through a window. On the one side, happy, untroubled people. On the other side, you. Something's happened. You have to carry it. And it's incommunicable. For those so afflicted, only God knows their pain, their secret, the secret of their alienating sorrow. And when such a person as they must howls to the sky, to God, "Help me!" What if there's no answer? Silent. I want to tell you a story. A cargo ship sank and all her crew were drowned except for one man. He fashioned a raft of some spars, and being of a nautical discipline, turned his eyes to the heavens, read the stars, and set his course for home. Exhausted, he fell asleep. That night the stars rolled in and blanketed the sky. And for 20 days, as he floated on that vast ocean, he could no longer see the stars. He thought he was on course, but there was no way to be certain. And as the days rolled on and he wasted away with fevers and thirst and starvation, he began to have doubts. Was he still on course and headed towards his home? Or was he hopelessly lost and doomed to a horrible death? No way to know. The message of the constellations, had he imagined it out of his desperate circumstances? Or had he seen truth once and now had to hold on without further reassurance? That was his dilemma on a voyage without apparent end. There are those of you in church today who know exactly the crisis of faith I describe, and I want to say to you, doubt can be a bond as powerful and sustaining as certainty. When you're lost, you're not alone. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Come in.
Have you a moment, Sister Aloysius?
Come in, Sister James. Who's watching your class?
They're having art.
Art. Waste of time.
It's only an hour a week.
Much can be accomplished in 60 minutes.
Yes, Sister Aloysius. I wondered if I might know what you did about William London.
I sent him home.
Oh dear, so he's still bleeding.
Oh, yes.
His nose just let loose and started gushing during the Pledge of Allegiance.
Was it spontaneous?
What else would it be?
Self-induced.
You mean, you think he might have intentionally given himself a nosebleed?
Exactly.
No.
You're a very innocent person, Sister James. William London is a fidgety boy, and if you do not stay right on him, he'll do anything to escape his chair. He would set his foot on fire for half a day out of school.
But why?
He has a restless mind.
But that's good.
No, it's not. His father's a policeman. The last thing he wants is a rowdy boy. William London is headed for trouble. Puberty's got hold of him. He'll be imagining all the wrong things, and I strongly suspect he will not graduate high school. But that's beyond our jurisdiction. We simply have to get him through and out the door, then he's somebody else's project. Ordinarily, I assign my most experienced sisters to 8th grade, but I'm working within constraints. Are you in control of your class?
I think so.
Usually more children are sent down to me.
I tried to take care of things myself.
That can be an error. You are answerable to me, I to the Monsignor, he to the Bishop, and so on through to the Holy Father. There's a chain of discipline. Make use of it.
Yes, sister.
How is Donald Muller doing?
Steady.
Good. Has anyone hit him?
No.
Good. And that girl, Linda Conti, have you seated her away from the boys?
As far as space permits, it doesn't do much good.
Just get her through, intact.
So should I go? Is something the matter?
No. Why? Is something the matter?
I don't think so.
Then nothing's the matter then.
Well, thank you, sister. I just wanted to check on William's nose.
He had a ballpoint pen.
Excuse me, sister?
William London had a ballpoint pen. He was fiddling with it while he waited for his mother. He's not using it for assignments, I hope?
No, of course not.
I'm sorry I even allowed cartridge pens into the school. The students really should only be learning script with true fountain pens. Always the easy way out these days. What does that teach? Every easy choice today will have its consequence tomorrow, mark my words.
Yes, sister.
Ballpoints make them press down, and when they press down, they write like monkeys.
Oh, I don't allow ballpoint pens.
Good. Penmanship is dying all across the country. You have some time. Sit down. We might as well have a talk. I've been meaning to talk to you. I observed your lesson on the New Deal at the beginning of term. Not bad. But I caution you, do not idealize Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was a good president, but he did attempt to pack the Supreme Court. I do not approve of making heroes out of lay historical figures. If you want to talk about saints, do it in religion.
Yes, sister.
Also, I question your enthusiasm for history.
Oh, but I love history.
That's exactly my meaning. You favor history and risk swaying the children to favor it over their other subjects. I think this is a mistake.
I never thought of that. I'll try to treat my other lessons with more enthusiasm.
No. Give them their history without putting sugar all over it. That's the point. Now, tell me about your class. How would you characterize the condition of 8B?
Oh, I don't know where to begin. What do you want to know?
Let's begin with Stephen Inzio.
Oh, Stephen Inzio has the highest marks in the class.
Noreen Horan.
Second highest marks.
Brenda McNulty.
Third highest.
You see, I'm making a point, Sister James. I know that Stephen Inzio, Noreen Horan, and Brenda McNulty are 1, 2, and 3 in your class. School-wide, we have 48 such students each grade period. I make it my business to know all 48 of their names. I do not say this to aggrandize myself, but to illustrate the importance of paying attention. You must pay attention as well.
Yes, sister.
I cannot be everywhere.
Am I falling short, sister?
These 3 students with the highest marks, are they the most intelligent children in your class?
No, I wouldn't say that they are, but they work the hardest.
Very good. That's right. That's the ethic. What good's a gift if it's sitting in the box? What good's a high IQ if you're staring out the window with mouth agape? Be hard on the bright ones, sister. Don't be charmed by cleverness, not theirs and not yours. I think you're a competent teacher, Sister James, but perhaps not our best teacher. The best teachers do not perform. They cause the students to perform.
Do I perform?
As if on a Broadway stage.
Oh, dear. I had no conception.
You're showing off. You like to see yourself 10 feet tall in their eyes. And another thing occurs to me. Where were you before?
Mount St. Margaret's?
All girls.
Yes.
I feel I must remind you. Boys are made of gravel, soot, and tar paper. Boys are a different breed.
I feel I know how to handle them.
But perhaps you're wrong. And perhaps you're not working hard enough.
Oh,
No tears.
I thought you were satisfied with me.
Satisfaction is a vice. Do you have a handkerchief?
Yes.
Use it. Do you think Socrates was satisfied? Good teachers are never content. We have some 372 students in this school. It's a society that requires constant educational, spiritual, and human vigilance. I cannot afford an excessively innocent teacher in my 8th grade class. It's self-indulgent. Innocence is a form of laziness. Innocent teachers are easily duped. You must be canny, Sister James.
Yes, sister.
When William London gets a nosebleed, be skeptical. Don't let a little blood fuddle your brain. God gave you a brain and a heart. The heart is warm, but the wits must be cold. Liars should be frightened to lie to you. They should be uncomfortable in your presence. I doubt they are.
Well, I don't know. I've never thought about it.
The children should think you see right through them.
But wouldn't that be a little frightening?
Only to the ones who are up to no good.
But I want my students to feel they can talk to me.
They're children. They can talk to each other. It's more important that they have a fierce moral guardian. You stand at the door, sister. You are the gatekeeper. If you are vigilant, they will not need to be.
I'm not sure what you want me to do.
And if there are things that occur in your classroom that you sense require understanding but you do not understand, come to me.
Yes, sister.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm principal of this school. Do you stay when the specialty instructors come in?
Yes.
But you're here now and there's art class going on.
I was a little concerned about William's nose.
Right. So you have art in class.
She comes in. Mrs. Bell. Yes.
And you take them down to the basement for dance with Mrs. Shields?
On Thursdays.
Another waste of time.
Oh, but everyone loves the Christmas pageant.
I don't love it. Frankly, it offends me. Last year, the girl playing Our Lady was wearing lipstick. I was waiting in the wings for that little jade.
Well, then there's music.
That strange woman with the portable piano. What is wrong with her neck?
Oh, some kind of goiter. Poor woman.
Yes. Mrs. Carolyn.
That's right.
We used to have a sister teaching that. Not enough sisters. What else?
Physical education and religion.
And for that, we have Father Flynn. 2 hours a week. And you stay for those?
Mostly, unless I have reports to fill
What
out.
do you think of Father Flynn?
Oh, he's a brilliant man. What a speaker.
Yes. His sermon this past Sunday was poetic.
Oh, he's actually very good too at teaching basketball. I was surprised. I wouldn't think a man of the cloth, the personality type for basketball, but he has a way he has. Very natural with dribbling and shooting.
What do you think that sermon was about?
What?
This past Sunday, what was he talking about?
Well, doubt. He was talking about doubt.
Why?
Excuse me, sister?
Well, sermons come from somewhere, don't they? Is Father Flynn in doubt? Is he concerned someone else is in doubt?
Well, I suppose you'd have to ask him.
No. He's my superior. That would not be appropriate. If you were troubled, you should confess it to a fellow priest or the Monsignor. We do not share intimate information with priests.
I'm a little concerned.
About what?
The time. Art class will be over in a few minutes. I should go up.
Have you noticed anything, Sister James?
About what?
I want you to be alert.
I don't believe I'm following you, sister.
I'm sorry that I'm not more forthright, but I have to be careful not to create something by saying it. I can only say that I'm concerned, perhaps needlessly, about matters at St. Nicholas School.
Academically?
I was not inviting a guessing game. I want you to pay attention to your class.
Well, of course. I'll pay attention to my class. And I'll try not to perform. And I'll try to be less innocent. I'm sorry you're disappointed in me. Please know I will try my hardest. Honestly.
Look at you. You would trade anything for a warm look. I am telling you here and now, I want to see the starch in your character cultivated. If you're looking for reassurance, you can be fooled. If you forget yourself and study others, you will not be fooled. It's important. Now, one final thing, and then you really must get back. Sister Veronica is going blind.
Oh, how horrible.
It's not generally known. I do not want it known. If they find out in the rectory, she'll be gone, and I cannot afford to lose her. But now, if you see her making her way down those stone stairs into the courtyard, for the love of heaven, lightly take her hand as if in fellowship and see that she does not destroy herself. All right, go.
guys, now settle down. Now, the thing about shooting from the foul line, it's psychological. The rest of the game, you're cooperating with your teammates and you're playing against the other team. But at the foul line, it's you against yourself. And the problem is, you start to think. When you start thinking, you stop breathing. Your body locks up. So, relax, take a deep breath, unlock your knees. You gotta be paying attention to this, Timmy. You stand there like a parking meter. Now, come up with a routine of things to do. Shift your weight around. Move your hips. You think that's funny, Ralph? What's funny is you're never getting a foul shot. Now, don't worry if you look silly. They won't think you're silly when you score the basket. So, come up with a routine, follow the routine, and you forget to get tensed up. Now, in another matter, I noticed several of you guys have got dirty nails. I don't want to see that. I'm not talking about the length of your nails. I'm talking about cleanliness. Take a look at my nails, see? Well, they're a little long, I like them that way. But they're clean, and that makes it okay. This kid I grew up with, Timmy Matheson, never had clean nails. Used to stick them in his nose and in his mouth. This is a true story now, pay attention. He got spinal meningitis and died a horrible death. Sometimes it's the little things that get you. You try to talk to a girl with those filthy paws, Conroy, she's gonna run like she's being chased by the Red Chinese. All right, you guys, what am I gonna do with you? Go get changed. Come on over to the rectory for Kool-Aid and cookies. We'll have a bull session. Now go!
Good afternoon, sister.
Good afternoon, Sister James. Mr. McGinn pruned this bush, which was the right thing to do, but he neglected to protect it from the frost.
Have we had a frost?
When it comes, it's too late.
You know about gardening?
A little. Where's your class?
Well, the girls are having music.
And the boys?
They're in the rectory.
With Father Flynn.
Yes, he's giving them a talk.
On what subject?
How to be a man.
Well, if sisters were permitted in the rectory, I'd be interested to hear that talk. I don't know how to be a man. I'd like to know what's involved. Have you ever given the girls a talk on how to be a woman?
No, I wouldn't be competent.
Why not?
I just don't think I would. I took my vows at the beginning. At the beginning.
The founder of our order, the Blessed Mother Seton, was married with 5 children before embarking upon her vows.
I've often wondered how she managed so much in one life.
Life perhaps is longer than you think, and the dictates of the soul more numerous. I was married.
You were?
You could at least hide your astonishment.
I didn't know.
When one takes on the habit, one must close the door on secular things. My husband died in the war against Adolf Hitler.
Really? Excuse me, sister.
But I'm like you. I'm not sure I'd feel competent to lecture tittering girls on the subject of womanhood. I don't come into this garden often. What is it, 40 feet across? The convent here, the rectory there. We might as well be separated by the Atlantic Ocean. I used to potter around out here, but Monsignor Benedict does his reverie at quixotic times, and we're rightly discouraged from crossing paths with priests unattended. He's 79, but nevertheless.
The Monsignor's very good, isn't he?
Yes, but he's oblivious.
To what?
I don't believe he knows who's president of the United States. I mean him no disrespect, of course. It's just that he's otherworldly in the extreme.
Is it that he's innocent, Sister Aloysius?
You have a slyness at work, Sister James. Be careful of it. Tell me about your class. How is Donald Muller?
He's 13th in class.
I know. That's sufficient. Is he being accepted?
He has no friends.
That would be a lot to expect after only 2 months. Has anyone hit him?
No,
Someone will, and when it happens, send them right down to me.
I'm not so sure anyone will.
There is a statue of St. Patrick on one side of the church altar and a statue of St. Anthony on the other. This parish serves Irish and Italian families. Someone will hit Donald Muller.
He has a protector,
Who?
Father Flynn.
What?
Well, he's taken an interest since Donald went on the altar boys. I thought I should tell you.
I told you to come to me, but I hoped you never would.
Well, maybe I shouldn't have.
I knew once you did, something would be set in motion. So it's happened.
What? I'm not telling you that. I'm not even certain what you mean.
Yes, you are.
I have been trying to become more cold in my thinking, as you suggested. I feel as if I've lost my way a little, Sister Aloysius. I had the most terrible dream last night. I want to be guided by you and responsible to the children, but I want my peace of mind. I must tell you, I've been longing for the return of my peace of mind.
You may not have it. It's not your place to be complacent. That's for the children. That's what we give them.
I think I'm starting to understand you a little. But it is so unsettling to look at things and people with suspicion. It feels as if I'm less close to God.
When you take a step to address wrongdoing, you are taking a step away from God, but in His service. Dealing with such matters is hard and thankless work.
I've become more reserved in class. I feel separated from the children.
That's as it should be.
But I feel wrong. And about this other matter, I don't have any evidence. I'm not at all certain that anything has happened.
We can't wait for that.
But what if it's nothing?
Then it's nothing. I wouldn't mind being wrong, but I doubt I am.
Then what's to be done?
I don't know.
You'll know what to do.
I don't know what to do. There are parameters that protect him and hinder me.
But he can't be safe if it's established. I doubt he could recover from the shame.
What have you seen?
I don't know.
What have you seen?
He took Donald to the rectory.
What for?
Talk?
Alone?
Yes,
When?
a week ago.
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. It never entered my mind that there could be anything wrong.
Of all the children, Donald Muller. I suppose it makes sense.
How does it make sense?
He's isolated. The little sheep lagging behind is the one the wolf goes for.
I don't know that anything's wrong.
Our first Negro student. I thought there would be fighting, a parent or two to deal with. I should have foreseen this possibility.
How could you imagine it?
It's my job to outshine the fox in cleverness. That's my job.
But maybe it's nothing.
Then why do you look like you've seen the devil?
It's just the way the boy acted when he returned to class.
He said something?
No, it was his expression. He looked frightened, and he put his head on the desk in the most peculiar way. One other thing. I think there was alcohol on his breath. There was alcohol on his breath.
8 years ago at St. Boniface, we had a priest who had to be stopped. But I had Monsignor Scully then, whom I could rely on. Here, there is no man I can go to, and men run everything. We're going to have to stop him ourselves.
Can't you just report your suspicions?
To Monsignor Benedict? A man's guileless. He'd just ask Father Flynn.
Well, would that be such a bad idea?
And he'd believe whatever Father Flynn told him and think the matter settled.
But maybe that's all that needs to be done. If it's true, if I had done something awful and I was confronted with it, I'd be so repentant.
Sister James, my dear, you really must try to imagine an entirely different kind of person than yourself. A man who has done this has already denied a great deal. If I tell the Monsignor, and he's satisfied with Father Flynn's rebuttal, the matter is suppressed.
Well, then tell the bishop.
The hierarchy of the church does not permit my going to the bishop. No. Once I tell the Monsignor, the matter is out of my hands. I'm helpless. I'm going to have to come up with a pretext. Get Father Flynn into my office, try to force it. You'll have to be there.
Me? No. Why? Sister, I couldn't.
I cannot be closeted alone with a priest. Another sister must be in attendance, and it has to be you. The circle of confidence must not be made any wider. Think of the boy if this gets out.
I can't.
Why not? You're squeamish?
I'm not equipped. I'd be embarrassed. I couldn't possibly be present if the topic were spoken of.
Please, Sister James, do not indulge yourself in witless adolescent scruples. I assure you I'd prefer a more seasoned confederate, but you are the one who came to me.
You told me to.
Would you rather leave the boy to be exploited? And don't think this will be the only story. If you close your eyes, you're a party to all that comes after.
You're supposed to tell the Monsignor.
That you saw a look in a boy's eye? That perhaps you smelled something on his breath? Monsignor Benedict thinks the sun rises and sets on Father Flynn. You'd be branded a hysteric and transferred.
We can ask him.
Who?
The boy, Donald Muller.
He'll deny it.
Why?
Shame.
You can't know that.
And if he does point the finger, how do you think that will be received in this community? A black child. I'm going to think this through. Invite Father Flynn into my office on an unrelated matter. You will be there.
What good can I do?
Aside from the unacceptability of a priest and a nun being alone, I need a witness.
To what?
He may tell the truth and lie afterward.
The boys are coming out of the rectory. They look happy enough.
They look smug, like they have a secret.
Oh, there he is.
If I could, Sister James, I'd certainly choose to live in innocence. But innocence can only be wisdom in a world without evil. Situations arise and we're confronted with wrongdoing and the need to act.
I have to take the boys up to class.
Go then, take them. I'll be talking to you. Hello, St. Nicholas School. Oh yes, Mr. McGinn, thank you for calling back. That was quite a windstorm last night. No, I did not know there was a great wind in Ireland and you were there for it. That's fascinating. Yes, I was wondering if you would be so kind as to remove a tree limb that has fallen in the courtyard of the church. Sister Veronica tripped on it this morning and fell on her face. I think she's all right. She does not look any worse, Mr. McGinn. Thank you, Mr. McGinn.
Good afternoon, Sister Aloysius. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Father Flynn. Just fine, very well, thank you. Thank you for stopping by.
Are we ready for our meeting?
We're just short Sister James. Did you hear that wind last night?
Oh, I certainly did. Imagine what it was like in the pioneer days, a man alone in the woods by the fire in his buckskins, heard a sound like that. Imagine the loneliness, the immense darkness pressing in on him. How frightening it must have been.
If one lacked faith in God's protection, I suppose one would be frightened.
Did I hear Sister Veronica had a fall?
Yes, Sister Veronica tripped on a piece of wood this morning and practically killed herself.
How is she?
Oh, she's fine.
Her eyesight's not very good, is it?
Her eyesight's fine. Nuns fall, you know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's the habit. Catches us up more often than not. What with our being in black and white and so prone to falling, we're more like dominoes than anything else.
Oh, am I past the time?
Not at all. Sister Aloysius and I were just having a nice chat.
Good afternoon, Father. Good afternoon, Sister. I'm sorry I was delayed. Mr. McGinn has closed the courtyard to fix something, so I had to go back through the convent and out the side door. And then I ran into Sister Veronica.
Oh, how is she?
She has a bit of a bloody nose.
I'm beginning to think you're punching people.
Sister?
Well, with that earlier incident, never mind. Please come in, have a seat. I actually have a hot pot of tea. And close this, but not quite for form's sake. Will you have some tea, Father?
Oh, I'd love a cup of tea, thank you.
Perhaps you could serve him, sister.
Oh, of course.
And yourself, of course.
Would you like tea, sister?
I've already had my cup.
Is there any sugar?
Sugar, yes. I put it away for Lent last year and never remembered to take it out.
Well, it couldn't have been much to give up then.
No, I'm sure you're right. Well, here it is. I'll serve, though for want of practice, your fingernails.
Oh, I wear them a little long. The sugar?
Yes. 1,
3.
3,
Sweet tooth.
1, 2, 3. Sister, do you take sugar?
Never. Not that there's anything wrong with sugar. Thank you.
No. Thank you for making the time for us, Father. We're at our wits' end.
Well, I think it's a good idea to rethink the Christmas pageant. Last year's effort was a little woebegone.
No, I loved it. But I love all Christmas pageants. I just love the nativity and the birth of the Savior. Oh, and the hymns, of course. Oh, little town of Bethlehem, oh come,
Thank you, Sister James. Sister James will be co-directing the pageant with Mrs. Shields this year. So what do you think, Father Flynn? Is there something new we could do?
Well, of course, we all love the Christmas hymns, but I think it might be jolly to include a secular song.
Secular.
Yes, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, something like that.
What would be the point of performing a secular song?
Fun.
Or Frosty the Snowman.
That'd be a good one. We could have one of the boys dress up as a snowman and dance around.
Which boy?
We do tryouts.
Frosty the Snowman espouses a pagan belief in magic. The snowman comes to life when an enchanted hat is put on his head. If the music were more somber, people would realize that the images are disturbing and the song heretical.
I never thought about Frosty the Snowman like that.
It should be banned from the airwaves.
So, not Frosty the Snowman.
I think not. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Would be fine, I suppose. Parents would like it. May I ask what you wrote down with that ballpoint pen?
Nothing, an idea for a sermon.
You had one just now?
Oh, I get them all the time. I forget them, so I write them down.
How fortunate. What is the idea?
Intolerance.
Would you like a little more tea, Father?
Not yet. I think a message of the Second Ecumenical Council is that the church ought to take on a more familiar face, reflect the local community. We should sing a song from the radio now and then. Maybe you take the children in for ice cream.
Ice cream.
Yeah, take the boys on a camping trip. We should be friendlier. The parents and children of this parish should see us as members of their family rather than emissaries from Rome. I think the pageant should be charming, like a community theater putting on a show.
But we are not members of their family. We're different.
Because of our vows?
Precisely.
Well, I don't think we're so different. You know, sister, I think I might have a little more tea now. Thank you.
And they think we're different. The working class people of this parish trust us to be different.
Well, I think we're getting a little off the subject.
You're right. Back to it, the Christmas pageant. We must be careful how Donald Muller is used in the pageant.
Careful there, sister, you don't spill.
Yes, Father.
What was that about Donald Muller?
We must be careful in the pageant that we neither hide Donald Muller nor put him forward.
Because of the color of his skin.
That's right.
Why?
Come, Father, you're being disingenuous.
I think Donald should be treated like any other child in the school.
But you yourself singled the boy out for special attention. You held a private meeting with him at the rectory. A week ago?
Yes.
What are we talking about here?
Donald Muller?
The boy acted strangely when he returned to class.
He did?
When he returned from the rectory. A little odd, yes.
Can you tell us why?
Why did he act strangely?
I'm not sure how to explain it. He laid his head on the desk.
Oh, you mean you had an impression?
Yes.
And since he'd come from the rectory, you're asking me if I know something about it.
That's right.
Did we come here to discuss the pageant? Is that why I'm here? Or is this what you wanted to discuss?
This.
Well, I don't feel very comfortable.
Why not?
Why do you think? Something about your tone.
I would prefer a discussion of fact rather than tone.
Well, if I had judged my conversation with Donald Muller to be of concern to you, I would have sat you down, sister, and talked to you about it. But I did not judge it to be of concern to you.
Perhaps you're mistaken in your understanding of what concerns me. The boy is in my school, and his well-being is my responsibility.
His well-being is not an issue.
I'm not satisfied that that is true. The boy was upset when he returned to class.
Did he say something?
No.
What happened in the rectory?
Happened? Nothing happened. I had a talk with the boy.
What about?
It was a private matter.
He's 12 years old. What could be private?
I say it again, sister. I object to your tone.
This is not about my tone or your tone. It is about arriving at the truth.
Of what?
You know what I'm talking about, don't you? You're controlling the expression on your face right now, aren't you?
My face? You asked me here to discuss the Christmas pageant. That's why I'm here. Am I to believe that you actually brought me here to confront me in some way? This is outrageous. I don't answer to you. What exactly are you accusing me of?
I'm not accusing you of anything, Father Flynn. I'm asking you to tell me what happened in the rectory.
Well, I don't wish to continue this conversation any further, and if you're unhappy with that, I suggest you go to the Monsignor. I can only assume that your unfortunate behavior this morning is as a result of overwork. Perhaps you need a leave of absence. I may suggest it. Good afternoon. Sister?
Good afternoon, Father.
There was alcohol on his breath. When he returned from his meeting with you,
Alcohol?
I did smell it on his breath.
well,
Can't you leave this alone?
no.
Oh, I can see there's no way out of it.
Take your time, Father.
Should have left this alone.
Would you like more tea?
Not possible.
Donald Muller served at Mass on Tuesday morning. After Mass, Mr. McGinn caught him in the sacristy drinking altar wine. When I found out, I sent for him. There were tears. He begged to stay on the altar, boys. I took pity on him and told him that if no one else found out, I'd let him stay on.
Oh, what a relief. That explains everything. Thanks be to God. Oh, Sister Cook, it was all a mistake.
And if I talk to Mr. McGinn?
Talk to Mr. McGinn by all means. But now that his secret's out, I'm going to have to throw him off the altar, boys, and that's what I was trying to avoid. It's a pity.
You were trying to protect the boy.
That's right.
I might have done the same thing. Is there any way Donald can stay on the altar, boys?
No. If the boy drank altar wine, he cannot continue as an altar boy.
Of course, you're right. I'm just not the disciplinarian you are, and he is the only Negro in the school. It'll be noticed that he's no longer on the altar. It's a public thing. A certain ignorant element will be confirmed in their beliefs.
He must be held to the same standard as the others.
Of course, you're right. Did we need to discuss the Christmas
This
pageant, or was
was
that
the
just...
issue.
Ah. And are you satisfied?
Yes.
Well, I better go. I've got some writing to do.
Intolerance.
That's right. I'm not happy with the way you handled yourself this afternoon, sister. The next time you're troubled by dark thoughts, I suggest you take them to the Monsignor.
Well, what a relief. Cleared it all up.
You believe him?
Well, of course.
Isn't it just that it's easier to believe him?
But we can corroborate the story with Mr. McGinn.
Yes, these types of people are clever. They're not so easily undone.
Well, I'm convinced.
You're not. You just want it settled so you can have simplicity back.
I want no further part of this.
I'll bring him down with or without your help.
How can you be so sure he's lying?
Experience.
You just don't like him. You don't like it that he uses a ballpoint pen. You don't like it that he takes 3 lumps of sugar in his tea. You don't like it that he likes Frosty the Snowman. And you're letting that convince you of something terrible. Just terrible. Well, I like Frosty the Snowman. And it would be nice if this school weren't run like a prison. And I think it is a good thing that I love to teach history and that I might inspire my students to love it too. And if you judge that to mean that I'm not fit to be a teacher, then so be it.
Sit down. In ancient Sparta, important matters were decided by who shouted the loudest. Fortunately, we are not in ancient Sparta. Do you honestly find the children in this school to be treated like inmates in a prison?
No, I don't. By and large, they seem to be fairly happy. But they're all uniformly terrified of you.
Yes, that's how it works. Sit there. Hello, this is Sister Aloysius Bouvier, Principal of St. Nicholas. Is this Mrs. Muller? I'm calling about your son, Donald. I'd like you and your husband to come down to the school for a talk. When would be convenient?
A woman was gossiping with a friend about a man she hardly knew. I know this is something that none of you have ever done here. That night she had a dream. A great hand appeared over her, pointing down at her. She was immediately racked with an overwhelming guilt, so the next day she went to confession. She got the old parish priest, Father O'Rourke, and she told him the whole story. Is gossiping a sin, she asked the old man. Was that the hand of God Almighty pointing a finger at me? Should I be asking for absolution, Father? Tell me, Father, have I done something wrong? Yes, he replied. Yes, you ignorant, badly brought up Phoebe. You've borne false witness against your neighbor, and you've played fast and loose with a man's reputation, and you should be heartily ashamed. So she said she was sorry and asked for absolution. Not so fast, said the old priest. I want you to go home and take a pillow up on your roof and cut it open with a knife. So the woman went home. She took a pillow from her bed. She took a knife from her drawer. She went out on the fire escape and up on the roof, and she stabbed the pillow. She then reported back to the priest. Well, said the priest, did you gut the pillow with a knife? Yes, Father, she said. And what was the result? Feathers, she said. Feathers, he repeated. Feathers everywhere, Father. Now I want you to go back, and I want you to gather up each and every feather that flew out on the wind. Well, she replied, it can't be done. I can't do it. The wind carried them all away. I don't know where they all went. And that said Father Aurora, is gossip. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, amen. Oh, good afternoon, Sister James.
Oh, good afternoon, Father.
What is that bird complaining about? What kind of bird is that? A starling? A grackle?
A crow?
Oh, of course. Were you praying? I didn't mean to interrupt.
I wasn't praying, no.
You seem subdued.
No. I can't sleep.
Why not?
Bad dreams? Well, actually, one bad dream, and then I haven't slept right since.
What about?
I looked in a mirror, and I saw darkness where my face should be, and it frightened me.
I can't sleep on occasion.
No? Do you see that big hand pointing a finger at you?
Yes, occasionally.
Was your sermon directed at anyone in particular?
What do you think?
Did you make up that story about the pillow?
Yeah. You make up little stories sometimes to illustrate. It's the tradition of the parable.
But aren't the things that actually happen in life more worthy of interpretation than a made-up story?
No. What actually happens in real life is beyond interpretation. The truth makes for a bad sermon. It tends to be confusing and have no clear conclusion.
I received a letter from my brother in Maryland yesterday. He's very sick.
Perhaps you should go see him.
Well, I can't leave my class.
How's Donald Muller doing?
I don't know.
You don't see him.
I see him every day, but I don't know how he's doing. I don't know how to judge these things now.
I had to stop talking to him for fear of it being misunderstood. Isn't that a shame? I actually avoided him the other day when I thought I might run into him in the hallway. He doesn't understand why. I noticed you didn't come to me for confession.
No, I went to Monsignor Benedict. He's very kind.
And I wasn't.
It wasn't that. As you know, it's Sister Aloysius.
So you're against me.
No,
You're not convinced.
it's not for me to be convinced one way or the other. It's Sister Aloysius.
And are you just an extension of her?
She's my superior.
Yeah, but what about you?
I wish I knew nothing whatever about it. I wish the idea had never entered my mind.
How did it enter your mind?
Sister Aloysius.
I feel like my reputation is being destroyed through no fault of my own, and yet I'm reluctant to take the steps necessary to repair it for fear of doing further harm. It's frustrating, I can tell you that.
Is it true?
What?
You know what I'm asking.
No, it's not true.
Oh, I don't know what to believe.
How can you take sides against me?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. I've done nothing. There's no substance to any of this. The most innocent actions can appear sinister to the poisoned mind. I had to throw that poor boy off the altar. He was devastated. The only reason I haven't gone to the Monsignor is that I don't want to tear the school apart. Sister Aloysius would certainly lose her job as principal if I made her accusations known, since they're baseless. You could lose your position as well.
Are you threatening me?
What do you take me for? No.
I want to believe you.
Then do. It's as simple as that.
It's not me that has to be convinced.
I don't Answer to her.
She's determined.
To what?
Protect the boy.
It's me that cares about that boy, not her. Have you ever seen her lift a finger to help that boy or any child in this school? She's like a block of ice. Children need warmth, kindness, understanding. What does she give them? Rules. If the boy needs a helping hand or he's not going to make it here. But if she has her will, he'll be left to his own undoing. Why do you think he was in the sacristy drinking wine? The boy's in trouble. She sees me talk in a humane way to those children, and she immediately assumes there's something wrong, something dirty. Well, I'm not going to let her hold this parish in the dark ages, and I'm not going to let her take away my spirit of compassion.
I'm sure that is not her intent.
I care about this congregation.
I know you do.
Like you care about your class. You love them, don't you?
Yes.
Well, that's natural. How else would you relate to children? I look in your face. I can see your philosophy. Kindness.
Oh, I don't know.
What do you suppose Sister Aloysius' philosophy is?
I don't have to suppose. She's told me. She discourages warmth. She suggested I be more formal.
The people who go after your humanity, Sister James. It'll tell you that the light in your heart is a weakness, that your soft feelings betray you. It's an old tactic of cruel people to kill kindness in the name of virtue. Well, I don't believe that. There's nothing wrong with love.
Well, of course not.
Have you forgotten the message of our Savior? Love, not suspicion, disapproval, judgment. Love of people. Have you found Sister Aloysius to be a positive inspiration?
I don't want to misspeak, but no. She's taken away my joy of teaching. And I love teaching more than anything.
It's all right. You're going to be all right.
It just feels as if everything is upside down.
It isn't, though. Sometimes we just feel that way. You're not alone with it. It happens to many of us.
A bond? I should go up.
I'm sorry your brother's ill.
Thank you, Father. I don't believe it.
You don't?
No.
Thank you, sister. That's a great relief to me. Thank you very much. Oh, be quiet.
Mrs. Muller,
Yes.
please come in. Have a seat.
I thought I might have had the wrong day when he didn't answer the door.
Oh, yes, well, just between us, I was listening to a transistor radio with an earpiece. Look how tiny they're making them now. I confiscated this from one of the students, and now I can't stop using it.
You like music?
Not really. News reports. Years ago, I used to listen to all the news reports because my husband was in Italy in the war. When I came into possession of this little radio, I found myself doing it again. Though there is no war and the voices have changed.
You were a married woman.
Yes. But then he was killed. Is your husband coming?
Couldn't get off work.
Of course, I see. Was a lot to ask.
How's Donald doing?
He's passing his subjects. He has average grades.
Oh, good. He was upset about getting taken off the altar boys.
Did he explain why?
He said he was caught drinking wine.
That is the reason.
Well, that seems fair. But he's a good boy, sister. He fell down there. But he's a good boy pretty much down the line, and he knows what an opportunity he has here. I think the whole thing was just a bit much for him.
What do you mean, the whole thing?
He's the only colored here, the first in this school. That'd be a lot for a boy.
I suppose it is, but he has to do the work, of course.
He is doing it though, right?
Yes, he's getting by. He's getting through. How is he at home?
Oh, his father beat the hell out of him over that wine.
He shouldn't do that.
He don't tell my husband what to do. He just stand back. He didn't want Donald to come here.
Why not?
Thought he'd have a lot of trouble with the other boys, but that hasn't happened as far as I can make out.
Good.
That priest, Father Flynn, been watching out for him.
Yes. Have you met Father Flynn?
Not exactly, no. I seen him on the altar, but I haven't met him face to face, no. Just, heard from Donald.
What does he say?
Father Flynn. He looks up to him. The man gives him his time, which is what the boy needs. He needs that.
Mrs. Muller, we may have a problem.
Well, I thought you must have had a reason for asking me to come in. A principal's a big job. You stop here today to talk to me. Must be something. I just want to say, though, it's just till June.
Excuse me?
Whatever the problem is, Donald just has to make it here till June. Then he's off into high school.
Right.
If Donald can graduate from here, he has a better chance of getting into a good high school, and that would mean an opportunity at college. I believe he has the intelligence, and he wants it too.
I don't see anything at this time standing in the way of his graduating with his class.
Well, that's all I care about. Anything else is all right with me.
I doubt that.
Try me.
I'm concerned about the relationship between Father Flynn and your son.
Uh-huh. You don't say. Concerned. What do you mean concerned?
That it may not be right.
Uh-huh. Well, there's something wrong with everybody. Ain't that so? You got to be forgiven.
I'm concerned, to be frank, that Father Flynn may have made advances on your son.
May have made.
I can't be certain.
No evidence?
No.
Well, maybe there's nothing to it.
I think there is something to it.
Well, I would prefer not to see it that way if you don't mind.
I can understand that this is hard to hear. I think Father Flynn gave Donald that altar wine.
Why would he do that?
Has Donald been acting strangely?
No.
Nothing out of the ordinary?
He's been himself.
All right.
Look, sister, I don't want any trouble, and I feel like you're on the march somehow.
I'm not sure that you completely understand.
I think I understand the kind of thing you're talking about, but I don't want to get into it.
What's that?
Not to be disagreeing with you, but if we're talking about something floating around between this priest and my son, that ain't my son's fault.
I'm not suggesting that it is.
He's just a boy.
I know.
12 years old. If somebody should be taking the blame for anything, it should be the man, not the boy.
I agree with you completely.
You're agreeing with me, but I'm sitting here in the principal's office talking about my son. Why isn't the priest in the principal's office? If you know what I'm saying, and you'll excuse my bringing it up.
You're here because I'm concerned about Donald's welfare.
And you think I'm not?
Of course you are.
Let me ask you something. You honestly think that priest gave Donald that wine to drink?
Yes, I do.
Then how come my son gets kicked off the altar boys if it was the man that gave it to him?
The boy got caught, the man didn't.
How come the priest didn't get kicked off the priesthood?
He's a grown man, educated, and he knows what's at stake. It's not so easy to pin someone like that down.
So you give my son the whole blame. No problem, my son getting blamed and punished. That's easy. You know why that is?
Perhaps you should let me talk. I think you're getting upset.
That's because that's the way it is. You're just finding out about it, but that's the way it is, and that's the way it's been, sister. You ain't going up against no man in a robe and win, sister. He's got the position.
And he's got your son.
Let him have him then.
What?
It's just till June.
Do you know what you're saying?
No more about it than you.
I believe this man is creating or has already brought about an improper relationship with your son.
I don't know.
I know I'm right.
Why you need to know something like that for sure when you don't? Please, sister, you've got some kind of righteous cause going with this priest, and now you want to drag my boy into it. My son don't need additional difficulties. Let him take the good and leave the rest when he leaves this place in June. He knows how to do that. I taught him how to do that.
What kind of mother are you?
Excuse me, but you don't know enough about life to say a thing like that, sister.
I know enough.
You know the rules maybe, but that don't cover it.
I know what I won't accept.
You accept what you gotta accept, and you work with it. That's the truth, I know. I'm sorry to be so sharp, but you're in here, in this room.
This man is in my school.
Well, he gotta be somewhere. And maybe he's doing some good too. You ever think of that?
He's after the boys.
Well, maybe some of them boys want to get caught. Maybe, what you don't know maybe is, my son is that way. That's why his father beat him up. Not the wine, he beat Donald for being what he is.
What are you telling me?
I'm his mother. I'm talking about his nature now, not anything he's done. But you can't hold a child responsible for what God gave him to be.
Listen to me with care, Mrs. Muller. I'm only interested in actions. It's pointless to discuss a child's possible inclination, finding it difficult enough dealing with a man's deeds. This isn't about what the child may be, but what the man is. It's about the man.
But there's the boy's nature.
Let's leave that out of it.
Forget it then. You're the one forcing people to say these things out loud. Things are in the air and you leave them alone if you can. That's what I know. My son came to this school because they were going to kill him in the public school. We were lucky enough to get him in here for his last year. Good. His father don't like him. He comes here, the kids don't like him. One man is good to him. This priest holds out a hand to the boy. Does the man have his reasons? Yes. Everybody has their reasons. You have your reasons. But do I ask the man why he's good to my son? No. I don't care why. My son needs some man to take care of him and see him through to where he wants to go. And thank God this educated man with some kindness in him wants to do just that.
This will not do.
It's just till June. Sometimes things aren't black and white.
And sometimes they are. I'll throw your son out of this school, make no mistake.
But why would you do that if nothing started with him?
Because I will stop this, whatever way I must.
You'd hurt my son to get your way.
It won't end with your son. There'll be others if there aren't already.
Well, throw the priest out then.
I'm trying to do just that.
Well, what do you want from me?
Nothing, as it turns out. I'd hope that you might know something that would help me, but it seems you don't.
Please, leave my son out of this. My husband would kill that child over a thing like this.
I'll try.
I don't know, sister. You may think you're doing good, but the world is a hard place. I don't know that you and me are on the same side. I'll be standing with my son and those that are good with my son. It would be nice to see you there. Nice talking with you, sister. Good morning.
May I come in?
We'd require a third party.
What was Donald's mother doing here?
We were having a chat.
About what?
A third party is truly required, Father.
No, sister, no third party this time. You and I are due for a talk. You have to stop this campaign against me.
You can stop it at any time.
How?
Confess and resign.
You're trying to destroy my reputation, but the result of this is going to be your removal, not mine.
What are you doing in this school?
I'm trying to do good.
Or even more to the point, what are you doing in the priesthood?
You are single-handedly holding back this school and this parish.
From what?
A progressive education and a welcoming church.
You can't distract me, Father Flynn. This isn't about my behavior, it's about yours.
It's about your unfounded suspicions.
That's right, I have suspicions.
You know what I don't understand through all this? What have I done to make you so suspicious?
You gave that boy wine to drink and you let him take the blame.
That's completely untrue. Did you talk to Mr. McGinn?
All McGinn knows is the boy drank wine. He doesn't know how he came to drink it.
And did his mother have something to add to that?
No,
So that's it then, that's all.
I'm not satisfied.
Well, if you're not satisfied, talk to the boy then.
No, he would protect you. That's what he's been doing.
Why would he do that?
Because you have seduced him.
You're insane. You've got it in your mind that I've corrupted this boy after giving him wine to drink, and nothing I say is going to change that.
That's right.
But correct me if I'm wrong, this has got nothing to do with the wine. Not really. You had a fundamental mistrust of me from the very beginning. It was you that told Sister James to be on the lookout, wasn't it?
That's true.
So you admit it.
Certainly.
Why?
I know people.
It's not good enough.
It won't have to be.
Oh, is that so?
You will tell me what you've done.
Oh, I will.
Yes.
I'm not one of your truant schoolboys, you know. Sister James is convinced I'm innocent.
So you talked to Sister James. Well, of course you talked to Sister James.
Did you know that Donald's father beats him?
Yes,
And might that not account for the strange behavior Sister James noticed in the boy?
it might.
So then what is it? What have you seen? What have you heard that has convinced you so thoroughly?
What does it matter?
I want to know.
On the first day of the school year, I saw you touch William London's wrist, and I saw him pull away.
That's it?
That is it.
Well, that's nothing.
What are you writing now?
You leave me no choice. I'm writing down what you say. I tend to get too flustered to remember details of upsetting conversations. This might be important when I talk to Monsignor about your removal as principal of this school.
This morning, before I spoke with Mrs. Muller, I took the precaution of calling the last parish to which you were assigned.
And what did he say?
Who?
The pastor?
I did not speak to the pastor, I spoke to one of the nuns.
You're supposed to talk to the pastor.
I spoke to a nun.
It's not the proper route for you to have taken, sister. The church is very clear. You should have talked to the pastor.
Why? Do you have an understanding, you and he? Father Flynn, you have a history.
You have no right to go rummaging through my past.
This is your third parish in 5 years.
Call the pastor and ask him why I left. It was perfectly innocent.
I am not calling the pastor.
I'm a good priest, and there's nothing in my record to suggest otherwise.
You will go after another child and another until you are stopped.
What nun did you speak to?
I won't say.
I've not touched a child.
You have,
You've not the slightest proof of anything.
but I have my certainty. And armed with that, I will go to your last parish, and the one before that if necessary. I will find a parent, Father Flynn, trust me I will. A parent who probably doesn't know you're still working with children. And once I do that, you will be exposed. You may even be attacked, metaphorically or otherwise.
You have no right. You have no right to act outside the church on your own. You're the member of a religious order. You've taken vows, obedience being one. You report to us. You have no right to step outside the church.
I will step outside the church if that's what needs to be done. Though the door should shut behind me. I will do what needs to be done if I'm damned to hell. You should understand that or you will mistake me. Now, did you give Donald Muller wine to drink?
Have you ever done anything wrong?
I have.
Mortal sin?
Yes,
And?
I confessed it. Did you give Donald Muller wine to drink?
Whatever I have done, I have left in the healing hands of my confessor, as have you. We are the same.
We are not the same. A dog that bites is a dog that bites. I do not justify what I do wrong and go on. I admit it, desist and take my medicine. Did you give Donald Muller wine to drink?
No.
Mental reservation?
No.
You lie. Very well then. If you will not leave my office, I will. And once I go, I will not stop.
Wait.
You will request a transfer from this parish. You will take a leave of absence until it is granted.
And do what, for the love of God? My life is here.
Don't.
Please, aren't we people? Am I not flesh and blood like you? Or are we just ideas and convictions? I can't say everything. You have to understand. There are things I cannot say. Even if you can't imagine the explanation, remember there are circumstances beyond your knowledge. Even if you feel certainty, it's an emotion, not a fact. In the spirit of charity, I appeal to you on behalf of my life's work. You have to act responsibly. I put myself in your hands.
I don't want you.
My reputation's at stake.
You can preserve your reputation.
If you say these things, I won't be able to do my work in the community.
Your work in the community should be discontinued.
So you'd leave me with nothing.
That's not true. It's Donald Muller who has nothing, and you took full advantage of that.
I did nothing wrong. I cared about that boy very much.
Because you smiled at him, and sympathized with him, and talked to him as if you were the same.
The child needed a friend.
You are a cheat. The warm feeling you experienced when that boy looked at you with trust was not a sensation of virtue. It can be got by a drunkard from his tot of rum. You're a disgrace to the collar. The only reason you haven't been thrown out of the church is the decline in vocations.
I can fight you.
You will lose.
You can't know that.
I know.
Where's your compassion?
Know where you can get at it. Stay here. Compose yourself. Use a phone if you like. Good day, Father Flynn. I have no sympathy for you. I know that you're invulnerable to true regret. And cut your nails.
Yes, this is Father Brendan Flynn of St. Nicholas Parish. I'd like to make an appointment to see the bishop, please.
How is your brother?
Better. Much better.
I'm very glad. I prayed for him.
It was good to get away. I needed to see my family. It had been too long.
Then I'm glad you did it.
And Father Flynn's gone?
Yes.
Where?
St. Jerome.
So you did it. You got him out.
Yes.
Donald Muller's heartbroken that he's gone.
It can't be helped. It's just till June.
I don't think that Father Flynn did anything wrong.
No? He convinced you?
Yes, he did. Did you ever prove it?
What?
That he interfered with Donald Muller?
Did I ever prove it to whom?
Anyone but yourself?
No.
But you were sure?
Yes.
Oh, I wish I could be like you.
Why?
Because I can't sleep at night anymore. Everything seems uncertain to me.
Maybe we're not supposed to sleep so well. They made Father Flynn pastor of St. Jerome.
Who?
The bishop appointed Father Flynn pastor of St. Jerome Church and School. It's a promotion.
You didn't tell them?
I told our good Monsignor Benedict. I crossed the garden and I told him. He did not believe it to be true.
Then why did Father Flynn leave? What did you say to make him go?
That I'd called a nun at his previous parish. That I'd found out his past history of infringements.
So you did prove it.
I was lying. I made no such call.
You lied?
Yes, but if he had no history, the lie wouldn't have worked. His resignation was his confession. He was what I thought he was, and he's gone.
I can't believe you lied.
In the pursuit of wrongdoing, one steps away from God. Of course there's a price.
I see. So now he's in another school.
Yes. Oh, Sister James,
What is it, sister?
I have doubts. I have such doubts.